There, the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
That's quite a golden little area there.
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
Oh boy. Sherlock Holmes at the home of Marquis of Collingham. The investigation is a fiasco. Yesterday, the celebrated detective Sherlock Holmes was invited to the manor of Marquis of Collingham to supply his conclusions following the investigation into the disappearance of Price's Samoan necklace. It should be recalled that the lady called in the detective after the police appeared, flummoxed in the face of the anguishing, astonishing circumstances surrounding the theft. Indeed, the valuable piece of jewelry disappeared while the door to the room in which it was displayed was locked. The alarm was raised by the servants, later by the room's service bell ringing out during the night. When the Marquis, only person in possession of the key, opened the door, everyone rushed in to extinguish the fire that had started before it was noticed that the necklace had mysteriously vanished. The most astonishing factor is that no thief was found within the room, and all exits were closed. As usual, Mr. Holmes resolved the case in just the twinkling of an eye, and the jewel was recovered. I will not waste my time on the various explanations as to disappearance, because I would prefer to draw your attention, dear readers, to the last surprising developments in the case. Following the departure of Sherlock Holmes, who placed the necklace in the safe himself, the Marquis noted that the jewel was nothing but a poor copy of the original. Let it not be forgotten that the Samoan necklace, although plain and without ornament, is unique because of the rarity of its pearls, pearls which are found only in the small part of the lagoon of the archipelago of the same name, and to which scientists attribute their exceptional quality to the strong density of crystal of argonite that they are made of. The priceless necklace, brought here at the beginning of the century by Lord Fenton Arwick, the Marquis's grandfather and eminent explorer, should have been part of her daughter's dowry for her marriage to the Duke of Newcastle. So I'm going to place a simple question. Should we not, in all open-mindedness, ask ourselves if the necklace was not simply and deliberately exchanged for a fake by Mr. Holmes himself? I am aware, dear readers, the brutality of this question without any preconceptions may certainly shock some of you, but the facts are there, and our thoughts and judgment should not be confused with the regard which we all share for the famous detective. It is not for the first time that the Globe Explorer has expressed its reservations as to Sherlock Holmes' methods. Do not forget our counter-investigation into the escape of Arsène Lupin, the Frenchman who took malign pleasure in tarnishing the image of our royal family, and who, by lucky chance, managed to elude capture by Mr. Holmes. At the time, we did not hesitate to consider a tacit complicity on the part of the latter. For those who are familiar with Mr. Holmes, it is quite apparent that his character traits show more of an opportunist and brilliant usurper than that of an altruistic defender of the law. I would draw the attention of our readers to the suggestion that the description of this gentleman provided by his friend Dr. John Watson through his stories is a long way from the truth. Indeed, his behavior is derisive. His behavior is derisive, contemptuous, haughty, and defensive towards the police, and in particular towards Inspector Baines, replacing Inspector Lestrade, who is currently and an habitual abuser of narcotics such as heroin and cocaine. This is why, dear readers, it is important to disregard Sherlock Holmes' good reputation in order to form an objective opinion and to ask the pertinent questions. Was the necklace that Holmes found already a fake? If that was the case, why did he not mention it, and why should he insist on placing it back within the safe himself? Has detective some unsavory interest in this affair? Or is it a simple case of deceit in order to steal the extraordinary Samoan necklace? It is up to you, dear readers, to form your own opinions, but you can count upon your humble servant to continue revealing to the public the doubtful methods and motivations of one who in the future I shall not hesitate to call Sherlock Holmes the usurper. To be continued, O. Farley. And this is another thing. I'm reading this, but I'm not going to read it out loud. Because you guys can pause that and do that, yeah. Okay, that's everything from that.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson,
By
that
being
wherever
insolent.
glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that, Rag?
Oh. I'm trying to use the wrong stick to navigate things.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
My apologies, I had to take a drink.
And the Marchioness.
And here comes another
She is
one.
beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage.
That everything is placed on a dowry. I'm really glad that America is not like that. That the dowry is needed. I mean, I understand it as far as culturally, but it really creates some bad class warfare style. Not necessarily warfare in the traditional sense, more of the, well, you're going to stay down there, and I'm going to stay up here, and go do what you will in your slop, but you will never marry anyone up here.
Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewelry?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
There's
It
bullet
will only
holes
take
in the
you a
wall.
couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector.
Be my guest.
Very well.
I really want to examine those. They look like bullet holes. So, if anyone was doing the shooting in here, they would have been shooting that way. In which case, why? I haven't read Sherlock Holmes or any of those things. I should. I like Sherlock Holmes. Of course, everybody's heard the phrase, "Elementary, my dear Watson." That's about as far as they get. I want to actually read it because I do like detective things, and it actually has quite a nice home. Especially for the time. I guarantee that anybody who is of a lower class than Holmes would not have been able to, you know, afford this place. Also, I don't remember if this is true or not, but Holmes having a Stradivarius. And if you don't know what a Stradivarius is, go look it up. My friend is extremely into music. Actually, he just subscribed. But, he will gladly tell you what a Stradivarius is any day of the week. Although, if you all question him, you might know him a little bit. So, his name on YouTube is Arlen Le Rouge. Make sure you go and bother him, alright?
I cannot leave now.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Holmes? What do you think, Holmes?
I think you guys are weird. Well, there's 3 missing up top.
These 3 pearls are of poor quality.
Oh, there's one weird one.
This pearl is a different color.
How's that one random tiny one?
This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no
Someone
idea.
replaced it
You
to
insisted
slander
that I
him.
examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector.
Solving petty crimes.
You
Good
mentioned
job,
a
Holmes.
bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
Oh, this sucks. I want just to be Sherlock Holmes and
The work table, where Holmes analyzes things.
wow. I did not expect to have the random things. And then there's a beautiful German etching. I know it's German because I've seen it before. I don't remember who did it or even what the title is. But I know it's an etching. Someone made a copy of it for the wall. Yeah, there's a lot of people getting trampled right there.
Holmes's homemade analyzer.
Okay, Watson, it's not called an analyzer. I don't remember what it's called though. No, it's not an analyzer though. Seriously? You were closest to this thing. Why do you ask me to come get it?
General practitioner. That won't be of any use to me. Hospitals and dispensaries in London.
What do you want to guarantee?
Female anatomy. I should put this book somewhere else.
That's dirty, Watson. But what do you want to bet I use every one of these books in some sort of investigation?
The harpoon that was used to kill Black Peter. A horrible murder.
Come on, you have something to say about everything. My
Here
typewriter.
is where I write my stories about Holmes's cases, and I've got work to do.
You don't shave.
And this is how my dear friend and colleague treats his clients' letters.